San Francisco has this fun little billboard that we came across on Twitter. No overdose. Do it with your friends. Use with people and take turns. Try not to use alone or have someone check on you. For those of you listening on our podcast apps, this shows a very diverse group of young ladies and men screaming, looking like they're at a little party, and it's clearly insinuating that they are doing drugs at this little get together. And at the bottom, well, maybe it's a party that has drugs. There's some young girls. It's a party that has drugs. Now at the bottom of this billboard, it says,
wait, is there a child there?
No, that's not
a child. Is that a little child in the
middle? That's a man bent down. Oh. He's just sitting in between them. Oh. At the bottom of this billboard, it says, get free naloxone, Narcan, overdose prevention training. Let's take care of each other, San Francisco. So for those of you who don't know, naloxone or Narcan is an opioid antagonist. Essentially what it does is once you've taken an opioid, let's say you take fentanyl, because that's the new hot drug right now. You overdose on fentanyl. Collapse. Someone next to you has naloxone or Narcan. This can be administered typically through a nasal spray, which is what you'll see on like cops and all these like firefighter shows and everything. They will, administer that naloxone to you, and what it does is it actually attaches itself to the opioid receptors that are now active in your brain because you took fentanyl, and it reverses the effects of the fentanyl in your brain with the intent of bringing you out of the overdose. Doesn't always work, but in a lot of cases it does. So San Francisco, because they have such a rampant drug problem, is now giving out free naloxone and Narcan to drug abusers.
I mean, they've been doing horrible things for a while. It's just more and more of the same stupid stuff from San Francisco. Knowing your no overdose. Well, it says no. I'm saying no as in KNOW. Yes. No overdose.
No. Get knowledgeable about what overdose looks like so that you can treat it when it happens.
I mean, that's fine. But they're saying that people should be, it's like almost like saying go get overdosed. It's fine because you're having other people around you. Like if you think that you're going to overdose, make sure that you're doing drugs around a ton of other people so that they can. I mean, I guess that's kind of smart. It's better than being alone, but like still, it's like instead of saying don't do drugs.
Yes.
instead of saying stop, drugs are bad for you. They say, well, just make sure you're doing. It's like those parents. You know, you have parents and they're like, I'm the cool mom. You know, and they're like, you know, if you're gonna be drinking, just make sure you're drinking around here. All the friends can come to my house and drink. It's like you shouldn't be letting your teenage kids drink. You're not their friend. You need to tell them, hey, don't drink. And now tell the people in San Francisco, don't do drugs. Okay? Yeah. Drugs are bad for you.
And San Francisco does the opposite in nearly every case that they can, which is why the city is so poorly run. They give out free needles to drug abusers. They are giving out Narcan and naloxone to drug abusers. They are allowing people to sleep on the streets. Essentially what they've done is they've created a problem, and instead of fixing it by making it not permissible anymore, they go, well, at least let's try to make you comfortable while you perpetrate this problem of drug abuse. Let's make you comfortable while you do it. Let's make sure you're not too scared of an overdose so that everybody does more drugs. And in fact, just do it in parties now, which is great.
And we're paying for it. You understand?
Yes. And
we're paying for these people's drugs.
We are. And people will see this and go, well, no, that actually sounds pretty good. If people are going to do drugs, I would hope that they do it in a safe environment. And yes, I understand why somebody would think that, but let's talk about how the problem has exacerbated in San Francisco. Here's an article out of New York Times. Drug overdose rose across the country during the coronavirus pandemic, but in San Francisco, they skyrocketed, claiming 713 lives last year, which is more than double the 257 people who have died from the actual virus in 2020. Mm-hmm. Yet, if you turn on the news in San Francisco, I'm sure you'll hear nothing more than COVID-19 and vaccine mandates, nothing of the 713 lives that have been claimed due to drug abuse.
Just make sure you're doing your heroin with a mask on.
Yep.
That's the most important.
And make sure you get free Narcan from San Francisco and these organizations so that you have it on hand. So hopefully you don't die when you do it.